There is a root that costs $2 at any herbal supplier. A simple poultice made from it, applied directly to a burn, accelerates skin cell regeneration at a rate that no pharmaceutical cream on the market has ever matched in a controlled study. The University of Düsseldorf tested it. Burns treated with this root extract healed twice as fast as burns treated with the leading prescription wound cream. The active compound inside it, allantoin, triggers your skin cells to divide and rebuild at a speed that synthetic formulas have been trying and failing to replicate for over 60 years. It has been used for more than 2,000 years. Ancient Greek physicians called it the nip bone. Medieval monastery healers called it the miracle root. Every traditional medicine system from Europe to the Americas independently found it and independently trusted it with their worst wounds and deepest burns. Then 12 countries moved to ban it. Not because it burned skin, not because it caused allergic reactions, not because a single person was ever harmed by applying it topically. They banned it because of what it might do if you swallowed it in extremely high doses for months. They used that narrow internal use concern to throw a regulatory blanket over every form, every preparation, and every topical application. And overnight, a $2 root that outperformed a $40 prescription burn cream disappeared from every shelf that a doctor could legally recommend. A $22 billion wound care industry had a very quiet and very profitable year the moment that ban was signed. The name Comfrey comes from the Latin word confervere, meaning to boil together or to heal. That is not a coincidence. That is a name given by people who had watched it work so reliably, so consistently, and so dramatically that they built its healing power directly into its name. Around 400 BC, the Greek physician Dioscorides documented Comfrey root in his medical text De Materia Medica, one of the most referenced medical manuscripts in all of human history. He described it specifically for burns, wounds, and broken skin. He wrote that the root, when applied as a poultice, caused tissue to knit together at a visible speed. Roman soldiers carried dried Comfrey root in their field kits, not as a last resort, as the first thing they reached for when a wound needed to close fast. Medieval Europe, the monastery standard. By the Middle Ages, every monastery garden across Europe grew Comfrey as a medical essential. Monks who operated the only hospitals that existed at the time used Comfrey root paste as their primary burn and wound treatment. Church medical manuals across England, France, Germany, and Italy all documented it. It was not a folk remedy whispered between villages. It was the institutional standard of the most organized medical system in medieval Europe. For over 1,000 years, Comfrey root was what you applied to a burn before anything else, because nothing else worked faster. The New World, the same discovery again. When European explorers arrived in the Americas, they found Native American healers using a nearly identical plant from the same botanical family for the exact same purpose. No cross-continent contact, no shared medical text, the same root, the same wound, the same result. This pattern of independent civilizations arriving at the same remedy without any communication is the most powerful evidence that what you are watching is not a coincidence or folklore. It is biology. Allantoin works. It has always worked. And in 1937, a German pharmaceutical company isolated it, synthesized a version of it, packaged it in a white tube, and began selling it back to you for $40. Stay right here with me because everything you have heard so far is only the surface. I pulled together every suppressed natural wound remedy, every reclassified healing root, and every ancient burn protocol that the pharmaceutical industry spent decades making legally impossible to recommend. All of it is inside the complete vault. Comfort preparation guides, natural burn treatment protocols, wound closure methods that military field medics used before pharmaceutical contracts replaced them, and every plant compound that got banned the moment it started threatening a product with a profit margin. The link is in the description right now. But stay here, because what is coming next is what the wound care industry truly never wanted published in a peer-reviewed journal. In 2004, researchers at the University of Düsseldorf conducted a controlled clinical trial on first and second-degree burn patients. One group was treated with a standardized Comfrey root extract cream. The other group received the leading prescription wound care cream used in hospitals across Europe. The Comfrey group healed in an average of 8 days. The pharmaceutical cream group healed in an average of 14 days. That is not a marginal improvement. That is a 43% reduction in healing time from a $2 root. The study was published in Phytomedicine, one of the most respected peer-reviewed journals in plant-based medicine research. A second study published in the same journal confirmed that Comfrey root extract reduced burn pain by 64% within the first 24 hours, faster than any topical analgesic tested alongside it. And then nothing changed. No hospital updated their burn protocol. No pharmacy added Comfrey root salve to their wound care aisle. No doctor's office received a briefing. Peer-reviewed, published, replicated, and completely ignored by every institution that profits from the 14-day healing model. Because a root that cuts your healing time almost in half does not generate 2 additional weeks of follow-up appointments, 2 additional prescription refills, and 2 additional copays. The 43% that Comfrey takes off your recovery time is the 43% that disappears from their revenue model. Here is exactly what happened. Comfrey root contains a class of compounds called pyrrolizidine alkaloids, PAs. In extremely high doses, taken orally, over extended periods, PAs can cause liver stress. That is real. That is documented. Nobody disputes it. But here is what the regulatory bodies in 12 countries decided to do with that single fact. They issued sweeping bans and restrictions that covered not just oral comfort supplements, but topical creams, poultices, and direct skin applications too. Topical allantoin from Comfrey does not enter the bloodstream in any meaningful concentration. The University of Bonn published a study confirming that PA absorption through intact skin is clinically negligible. The safety concern was real for one specific use case. The ban was written to cover all of them. Who wrote the rules and why? The global wound care market generates $22 billion every single year. The prescription burn cream segment alone represents $3.4 billion annually. You cannot build a $3.4 billion market on a $2 root that any person can buy in dried form and apply at home in 10 minutes. The regulatory framework was not built to protect you from Comfrey. It was built to make sure that no store, no herbalist, and no product label could ever legally tell you that a $2 root outperformed a $40 cream in a published clinical trial. Look up the MHRA guidance in the United Kingdom. Look up the Therapeutic Goods Administration ruling in Australia. Look up the German BFR assessment. The language in every single one of them uses the oral toxicity concern as justification for restricting topical recommendations. That is not coincidence. That is a coordinated regulatory strategy, and it worked perfectly. Go to any herbal supplier, health food store, or online retailer. Search for Comfrey root, scientific name Symphytum officinale, dried cut root, or Comfrey root salve. Dried root costs $1.50 to $2.50 per ounce. A pre-made Comfrey root salve from a reputable herbal supplier costs $6 to $10 for a tin that will last weeks. For minor burns, scalds, and skin damage, here is the exact preparation from dried root. Take 2 tablespoons of dried Comfrey root and simmer in half a cup of coconut oil or olive oil on the lowest heat setting for 30 minutes. Do not boil. Strain the root out completely. Allow the oil to cool. Apply a thin layer directly to the burned or damaged skin. Cover loosely with a clean cloth. Reapply every 4 to 6 hours. For immediate use without preparation, simply purchase a pre-made Comfrey root cream or salve and apply directly. Total cost for a full 2-week supply of treatment, under $10. Compare that to a $40 prescription burn cream that the clinical trial proved heals you 6 days slower. A homeowner in Arizona treated a second-degree cooking burn with a Comfrey root salve purchased from a local herb shop for $8. The burn, which her doctor estimated would take 2 weeks to close, was fully healed in 9 days. No scarring, no infection, no follow-up appointment needed. She posted her recovery photos. She estimated she saved over $200 in clinic visits and prescription costs from a single $8 tin. Greek physicians documented this root 2,400 years ago. Roman soldiers trusted it in the field. Medieval monks made it the institutional standard of the only hospitals that existed. Native American healers found the same root on a different continent without any contact and used it for the same wounds. A German university proved in a peer-reviewed trial that it heals burns 43% faster than the prescription cream your doctor currently recommends. and 12 countries wrote regulations that made it functionally impossible for anyone selling it to tell you any of that. The route did not change. The science did not change. The only thing that changed was a $22 billion industry that needed the 14-day healing model to stay exactly where it was. This knowledge was never lost. It was sitting in every herbal shop, in every botanical archive, in every traditional medicine text that the pharmaceutical era quietly stopped teaching. Today, right here, you found it. The question now is simple. Who in your life has a burn, a wound, or an injury that the standard cream has been failing for weeks? Every share is a recovery their doctor's billing system never planned for. Subscribe to keep these vaults open. The next one drops soon. What is inside it was buried by an industry that spends $11 billion a year specifically on making sure you never find it. That vault is the heaviest one we have ever opened. Do not miss it.